Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CHAOSS D&I Working Group meeting. My name is Matt, and if you want to go ahead and add yourself to the list of people attending the meeting and add any notes you'd like to add to get started with that overall meeting. So something that's been brought up in this is the first item because it was the only item for a bit, but in the notes I've got badging outreach, and we've worked in the weekly call for a couple weeks on something for badging, where the program is now open and we'd like to get some more applications, so we're looking at reaching out to members of organizing committees for events. And if someone could please copy that list over from the regular meeting minutes and paste it in here just so we have it. And let's see, it would take me a million years to do that. I don't know, it's a slow morning, but
I got you.
thank you. And we were kind of thinking in the badging program, something that would be very beneficial would be an outreach track. So we're looking for somebody to help champion that, as everybody's kind of got their own jobs in badging right now. So we're looking for someone that would be willing to help kind of move the outreach forward, as we kind of got a couple of people saying, I'll talk to this person, I'll talk to this person, but we haven't got someone in charge of it yet. So we're looking for that. And I'm going to say email me for more information there. And if you see any of these items that you'd like to take on communicating with that person, then just leave a comment there. And let's see. That's all I had there. Do we have any comments or questions about that? We might have some
Not
more
right now.
comments from the last meeting about people taking on those items as well. What's that, Sam?
I'm a listener mostly on this meeting at this point, still learning the ropes of how best to engage. So I may not be your super genius when it comes to saying yes or no.
That's okay. I mean, like, making sure you haven't got too much, and this is for the people that have too little on their plate, which I don't even know if that's possible in this field. But
well, yeah, it's certainly never been my problem.
and if like I said, if you have any any groups or event emails that you'd like to take on for these events, go ahead and leave a comment. Now we have for the next agenda item, we've got a project burnout metric. So I am going to I'm going to share my screen on this one. And just give me just a moment. Oh, actually, I need to be host to screen share. Elizabeth, do you think you could screen share the project burnout metric? You're my task person today.
Hang on one second. Let me figure this out.
Yeah.
I don't want to share. I have so much stuff open. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, so I want to leave a comment on that. I am Maji, worked over it last week, so I'm pretty tired, so my voice is going to be a little down. So we worked over it last week, so he was supposed to attend today, but he said he had a meeting clashing, so he's unable to attend. So what we need more help with today is working on the random idea section, seeing how maybe we could bring in some of those ideas into the main description. So there's the random idea section down below. So how we can bring that up, so we'll be able to clear off that random idea section and move ahead with it. So that's mainly what we need help with, because I think we cleared out most of the comments that was made in last two meetings. So yeah.
That sounds great. So, so you're saying we need to incorporate these all into some part of the metric, or into the ideas of the metric?
So if you scroll down, there's like the random idea part, but some of them are already, yeah, this part, yeah. So some of them are already somehow in the description, but there are actually some that are not there. So we just have to like look at them and see which ones we can squeeze into the, just a section to just put in anything you think might be helpful.
Is your thought that these would be like self-report, like the people would be saying things like what proportion of people are doing the work, or like for the first one, or have there, like, how many people have dropped out, or is it stuff you could actually measure these too, right? Directly.
Yeah, I think someone left in, Laura left in a Gini coefficient, a truck factor or something by the comment by the side to measure that.
Yeah, like would it be a suggestion to the project owner, like, oh, here's a way you could look at the potential for burnout in your project, measure it this way, versus like asking them to report
Versus
it, or
recommending.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think if we look at it, then recommending would be a great way than just saying, okay, you could use this.
Yeah, is it worth just going through each one and saying like, here's how we might add it to the sections above?
Yeah, I think that's. I was thinking that's how we. That's a
Yeah,
good way we could do it.
yeah, exactly.
So I'll start us off with a few contributors carrying the bulk of the contributions might be feeling burnout. So that sounds like some kind of like workload kind of thing. And I've seen the truck factor here. I've also seen it called the bus factor. I think Chaos calls it the elephant factor, but it might be worth it to link this off to the elephant factor as well, because that is a part of it's related to this pretty strongly.
We have both the bus factor and the elephant factor because they're two different concepts. The bus factor or the truck factor focus on individual contributors, whereas the elephant factor focuses on organizations. So even if you have 5 people working in a project, the bus factor might be 5, but if they all work for the same manager and that team gets disbanded, then the elephant factor would have been 1 and warned us of that.
I learned something new today.
And to me, this first one, a few contributors carrying the bulk of contributions might be feeling burnout. Is that something we want to add to collection strategy, asking people how much work they have? Or is this something we want to add to the description or the objectives?
I think we've got 2 people asking about data collection strategies, so that would be at least a great starting point.
Yeah, +1 on, I think, data collection strategies is a better place to do that.
Sorry,
go
I am
in
so
trace?
distracted right now. Our baby cat is trying to jump onto the lizard cage to get through, and I missed the last sentence here.
I was just going to ask if it would go under trace data, or do we need a new section for that?
I think we already have this in the last bullet point under trace data, which reads, analyze if there are a large number of contributions by a very small group of people. The only thing that the sentence in extra stuff, or sorry, random ideas has, is the idea that having the bulk of the work leads to burnout, which I think is already implicit in this third bullet point under trace data. So with that, I suggest we already got this covered and we can remove it.
But would you want to link to one of those metrics, like in, because it's just so people know what measures to use for that? Like in that section, somehow showing them what measures they could use.
Are you talking about the trace data section?
Yeah, I just put a comment saying that, but like right where it says analyze if there are a large number of contributions, it could be like, for example, using, and then just have a link to one of those metrics. Just to help them.
I've linked a metric in the comment there as well. The one that we could use. A bus factor, okay.
Got it. It's a good idea.
I'm looking for bus factor. I can't find that specifically.
It's not the same as truck factor.
I think that is, yeah, that would make sense. But right now the bus and truck factor are not released metrics according to the latest release I'm looking at on CHAOSS.Community. So we'll have to go with the elephant factor for now.
Yep.
Okay. So the next question we have is, an interesting metric might be people with burnout still going in the project, people with burnout in the project who took a break, or number of people who left to not return due to burnout. My question for this would be, what's the best way to measure this? Would this be a community kind of measurement, or something that we can measure with data? The hard part of it is that we have burnout as a factor in there, and it makes it harder to come up with a measurement for it.
Yeah, like how would you find the people who left and didn't come back? I mean, you could pull that out of the data, but how do you know that it was due to burnout and not some other factor? Like they got busy at work or whatever, you know, it could be a lot of things. So how would you maybe have to like reach out to them and ask why they stopped?
This is a hard one.
If it's the maintainer, would they know? They might have a sense, right?
If they know their people well enough, if it's a big project like Kubernetes, you don't know everyone.
How about we focus on the people who are in the burnout still in the project who took a break? Because that might be something we can ask, like, have you taken a break related to your stress in the project or something like that?
That's a good survey question.
Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. This is Nicole, sorry.
Oh, hi, Nicole. Good
Hi.
to hear you.
Would it,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, would it be like, I've thought about taking a break, or I've taken a break or something like that?
Yeah, I think both would be valuable. Okay. Do we want to leave this here for further discussion, or do we want to take care of this comment now? I'm going to suggest, since we can't measure the leaving and not returning for now, I think we want to suggest removing it.
The next one's interesting. Like we could ask directly, I feel my work on this project is valued. It starts to get away from burnout directly, right? But it's like a could be a contributor.
Yeah, that could like involve a lot of different types of people that contribute to the project, not only just employees. Yeah, we're building an entire survey here. I like this. Could we also add something like, I feel that I am listened to in the project? Because I feel like that's even something unrelated to the last question. Yeah.
Hey, going back up to the original one, I just noticed that we have this question that says, in the past 6 months, I have thought about leaving this project. Does that overlap with this one we just added? I've thought about or I've taken a break from the project because of the stress involved. Should we lump those two together?
They're slightly different, right? Like it's taking a break, oh, because of the stress involved.
True.
I guess a break means you're intending to come back.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But you're right. Maybe the first one would get it enough. Like we don't necessarily. I guess it's just double checking that we got it.
Georg, you are
How
talking.
about we put them together like this, and when someone puts together a survey, they can see the similarity and then choose which one they want to go with.
That seems reasonable to me.
When it says because of the stress involved, and maybe if you guys have already gone over this, just disregard. But because of the stress involved in the project,
Yeah.
or okay.
No, I would almost leave that off, honestly, because if they thought about taking a break, yeah, they might. Yeah, if that part's unclear, they might not answer yes to it.
Yeah.
And the so I guess where I'm coming from on this is that for me personally, this is actually separate from my day job, so to speak. And so it might not be because of the stress involved in the project. It's actually the project fills me up, right? It's more because of everything going on either, in my day job or in, the mommy world or in, things like that. It's not necessarily the stress within the project.
Okay. So I think it's worth it to generalize that statement to, sorry.
I get your point, Nicole, that there are other reasons for taking a break.
Yeah.
And when you take a break for other reasons, is that related to burnout from the project? Because that's what this metric is about, burnout in the project.
Yeah.
So we can specify here that it's project-related stress.
Yeah, okay. It makes it much more tangible, right? Or much clearer as to what question you're actually answering.
Good point. Yeah. We're not asking about other stress outside. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it worth asking about both though? Like, I think that's a good point. So if it's like stress related to the project is about workload in the project versus like work balancing this with my other life priorities or something like that.
It might be
Or not.
helpful to know that, I think, because if you have a lot of burnout in your project and it's because of other things outside of your control, then that's, I think, still valuable information that you can have as a community manager, I think. Like maybe it's just tech, like tech sucks, I'm out, you know, like, I don't know. So like you don't have really control over that. So that would be good to know though, that, you know, there are things that are outside of your control.
Yeah, I agree.
I just added a question to try to capture this.
Okay.
I just want to say this is a really productive session. I feel super energized. You're all amazing people to work with.
And honestly, working on this metric has helped me recognize some of my own burnout and helped me back away from that and find ways to manage myself through that. But that's kind of unrelated to the metric itself, but it's helped me. Anyway, this is the item I've been thinking about the most when we're going through these items is the community atmosphere. I'm thinking, how do we measure the atmosphere of the community from more of a standpoint of understanding the atmosphere from the contributor's perspective? Would this be an item that we ask them a question, or is there a different way to do it?
I think we have questions around how the project affects you and your decision around, I feel my voice is heard. That's a cultural thing. Or my contributions in the project are valued and rewarding to me. So we have those positive things.
We have to be holistic about it, and we can't necessarily ask them. We can't ask them what is it. What do you think of the atmosphere of your community? Seems a little broad. Like you said, yeah. I kind of just reiterated what you said, but.
Yeah, I
What
think go ahead, Laura.
sorry. No, I was just going to say, what do you want to capture with that?
And I was just going to say that someone who feels energized because they enjoy debate and they enjoy confrontation and they like that might not be great for the overall project. So I agree that I think we should find a way to capture that the level of confrontation or the level of I don't know how to say it, but I think it's important to catch that separately is what I was trying to say.
So if we have a project where everyone gets that positive out of the level of confrontation, then I think it's a healthy project. And if they all feel energized, but if there's one person who feels energized because of it and everyone else feels like, ugh, no, this project is not what I want, then I think the survey as we already have it will reflect that. Or was there a specific question you wanted to ask?
Maybe it's more around I like feeling like the project is welcoming or like fits with their communication style. Like I don't really know how to say it. Or yeah, I don't know.
it might be worth just saying, just leaving this as like Laura said, an open end kind of thing.
Like maybe even, yeah, something like, what's your perception of the communication style in this project, or what's your experience of it? I don't know. There's an open end section, right? Or maybe that's an interviews thing.
That would break our Likert streak of 10 items. I think that's definitely an interview question, in my opinion.
Maybe we could ask if they have been deliberate in crafting communication styles or channels or something, like, have they thought about it? Have they considered the impact that the way that the project communicates, or the way that the contributors communicate with each other, could affect people's perception of the atmosphere, something like that. Like, I mean, if they're deliberately making a project that like fosters that kind of debate and that sort of communication style, and that's what they want, then I agree, like what Georg said, then that's healthy for them, I guess. but as long as I think that if they're being deliberate about it and being like aware of the impact that they're making, or the potential for burning out their people that aren't in line with that, I don't think I'm making sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's like a member version and a maintainer version. Like the member version is more like, yeah, what's like about perceptions about fit, or like whether they think it's positive.
Yeah, that's a good. Anita wrote something up that was pretty good, which, how would you classify the communication between contributors?
The next one.
Justin, you shared this document about the Mozilla open source archetypes. It looks nice, but I'm not sure where to look in the document. Is there a specific section that would be helpful for burnout?
Yeah, it's farther down in the document. I think it'll be easier to look at. There's an appendix, or like a chart, that has all of their different models defined together side by side. And they identify different kinds of characteristics and traits of different models of open source communities. And what, if you're working in a business to business open source project, you might have this context. I don't know if that would fit in, but it was something that came into mind when Laura was talking to me, is like, oh, well, maybe burnout would look different, or could look different for someone based on whether the open source project is something like a work project, something they're paid to work on, or whether it's like a personal hobby project or something that they've been doing in their free time, and maybe they built up a community on their own.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we would. That's a big thing to tackle. To see them from different lenses. I could see the use though. How would you recommend we take this on? Something like this that shows different archetypes.
So maybe even with the data we have, we could think about how, well, on the Google Doc. I don't know. I guess it's something that I'm still thinking on, but it was just I need to think on it a little bit more.
Okay. It's a big graph, but it's quite interesting to look at, and I've never thought about it from the perspective of archetypes like this before, so it's interesting. Can we make that? Can we? Let's add that to the document at one part.
And it might be possible too, as we go through this, we, you know, looking at a burnout metric, we identify other areas or things that might be helpful to look at for other metrics.
Yeah. That might be something to ask us to do as well, is to go through and see, like you said, where crossover might happen with other metrics. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know why it struck me like that, but I found it really interesting. Okay. Do we have one more item that we haven't covered in here? It is checking in for signing in for work group meetings and attendance and overall feelings. So it creates a good atmosphere, and we had the opportunity to share something personal while staying in touch about how we were all doing. Could this be a question such as how, oh, it looks like Georg added a survey item proposal for this. You're already ahead of the game, Georg.
Was that suggestion also saying like we should have some question about just asking about how they're feeling? Like how are they, like some kind of emotion check?
I almost feel like a lot of these questions focus on the negative, and something we can focus on also is making them like I feel emotionally drained. Could almost turn into an interview question of how are you emotionally working on this project?
Or ask it in both directions, like I enjoy working on this project. Like we could flip any of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I did that in my class, like a one item, like an open-ended question, like how are you doing today, kind of thing, and they just
I love
did a word.
questions like that.
Yeah, it's like it was kind of cool to just do a word cloud of that, so we could have like a just open end, like how do you feel about this project, or how are you doing in this project?
So from a data perspective, if you're trying to run a report, I guess, of you know, your overall score, would you want all of the questions to skew the same way so that you could overall say, oh, our score is a 1 and we would like it to be a 5? But if you have them kind of going both ways, you'd have to do that question by question. And I don't know what the right answer is, so I'm hoping someone else does.
Like for survey design, it's good to ask it in both directions so that you know people are like paying attention to what they're answering, but it does take more work then to like put it together. Like they'd have to reverse it, basically flip it.
Yeah, I don't know enough about writing surveys yet. Don't know how to do that, but this seems to be one of those situations where it's really hard to find the right answer, and it looks like we have a little more work to do with the burnout metric in general. So this is something that we can, I just wanted to make sure, do we have anything else? We have about 10 minutes for any other points that we want to make. No other items? I want to also stress again that we need help reaching out to on behalf of the badging program, and we're working on an email template. A few of us are working on an email template for sending out emails to people, getting connected with them, and trying to talk to people about applying for an event badge, basically. So always looking for help with that. And if we don't have anything else to talk about at this point, I think we can pick at the burnout metric, not burning metric, the next time around. And well, we made it 41 minutes on 2 points. I think that's pretty impressive, if I do say so myself.
I have no idea what's impressive or what time means anymore.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, thank you everybody for coming by, and we'll see you around next time.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Give back.